The road is smooth, asphalted. On the sides are hills and beautiful landscapes. This is the road to Dekemhare, where one feels welcomed not only by the animals around, but by nature itself. Here, the air is fresh, no pollution to spoil your day, and definitely no bustling sounds of cars and motorbikes, quite common in major cities of Eritrea. Dekemhare, a gradually thriving town located 40 kilometers away to the south of Asmara. We were told by the administrator that Dekemhare is the fourth largest city after Asmara, Massawa, and Karen, and one of the cities that has witnessed rapid development after independence.
Dekemhare ካብ ኣስመራ 4 ኪሎ ሜትር እያ ክልሕቅናታ ክትሪኦ ከለኻ ናይ ብሓቂ ፅቡቅ ክላይመት ኣለዋ
Dekemhare's amazing climate and strategic location is the main reason for the investors to choose Dekemhare as an investment spot, and the government is ready to provide assistance to those that are interested.
ስለዚህ ነዚህ ክብለኩም ዝፅናሕኩ ናይ ሕርሻን ናይ ፋብሪካን እዚያ ምችት እያ ማለት ነው
The Dekemhare subzone is part of the southern region and is inhabited by approximately 75,000 people that are of the Tigrinya, Tigre and Saho ethnic groups respectively. The Saho are fewer in number, but are nevertheless bigger at heart and share evenly with the others from whatever Dekemhare has to offer. The town experiences one of the coolest and finest climatic conditions in Eritrea. The inhabitants say, "Kori Dekemhare hafaru gaza ayatunu," which means that the Dekemhare cold is rather shy and does not follow you inside your home, a very common expression worth remembering once in Dekemhare. Perhaps the most exciting climates here are during summer and spring seasons. Stretching from October to February is summer for Dekemhare, and during this time it is usually cold and wet. An average rainfall of 570 millimeters is recorded annually, most of which is collected during this season. The inhabitants are not the only ones that expect this season with great anticipation. Goats and sheep also do, as the rains mean plenty of fresh grass to eat. Dekemhare is by far the best place where one can witness the successful agricultural achievements that are greatly attributed to the favorable climatic conditions.
Dekemhare ከም ሓደ ኮመርሻል ሴንተር ማእከል ናይ ንግዲ ያው ኢሎም ይፅውዑዋ ምክንያቱ በዚ ምስ ወደብ በዚ ምስ ኣስመራ
Dekemhare is a commercial center because it connects with 4 towns and cities of significance. At the moment, there are over 28 factories, some of which have already started with others on the verge of commencement. Potential investors wish to invest in Dekemhare because of its certain qualities of good climate conditions, fertile soil and attractive places. Dekemhare was an investment spot beginning from the Italian colonial era.
ዝጀመረ ገለገለ እውን ሕጂ ኣብ ህነፅ ኣብ ምጥንቃቕ ዘሎ ኣሎ
Dekemhare is by far the best place where one can witness the successful agricultural achievements that are greatly attributed to the favorable climatic conditions. From March to September, the climate is temperate and is neither cold nor hot, climate perfect for visitors who despise the cold. Possibly the most fascinating component of the Dekemhare, the Dekemhare, or granite rocks, which are mostly found at the gates of the town. These rocks are not only huge in size, but are also tightly packed with one another, hence the Eritrean expression, which means as solid as the granite rocks, an expression that best describes the Eritrean people's unity and perseverance to withstand almost any ordeal. The clean streets, cool breeze, and soothing sound of children playing at the marketplace, coupled with a very welcoming people, compels not just admiration, but falling in love with the thriving city. Falling in love in the sense that never wanting to leave, ever. There is a smile on the people's faces that demands submission and surrender, which is why many visitors make plans for a second trip while still in Dekemhare. Dekemhare is now a thriving commercial center, especially to the north of the town, as it borders with the northern Red Sea region, where trade is full of life. It is also linked with the Mai Aini subzone to its south, Serenity to its east, and Makul region to its west, which are places of great importance for commercial activities. Other factors can also be cited, among which is the great number of factories established in its outskirts that process different kinds of foodstuff.
Dekemhare ምናልባት እሳቶም በትኖረው ስትራቴጂ ተወታ መዛአተዎ ብዳይ ነገር አቶ ወታደራዊ ኃይሊ Dekemhare ከም ዝሕጂ ንሪኦ ናይ 4-5 መገዲ ወይስ መላግቦ መስካለ
The Italians chose Dekemhare for its suitable location for deploying their soldiers and expanding their power. The second reason they chose the place was for its wonderful climate, which resembled that of their own home, Italy. Dekemhare was simply perfect for them. Sometimes, the settlers in Asmara were coming here to pass their vacations because it was more or less like Italy.
በዚህ ሙያ ዓበይት ህንፃታት ንዖም ጥቀሙ ዝሓሰሩሉን ክሰርሑ ክኢሎም ማለት ምርጫኦም በዚህ
Dekemhare is also known for its ancient buildings and historical monuments, like the rock hewn by the Italians, a plaque marking the opening of the road from Asmara to Dekemhare by Ferdinando Mantini, one of the colonial masters. The St. Mary's Church was constructed in 1939 by the local inhabitants. Later, in 1966, a bell was fitted on the tower of the church to sound for worship. Italy invaded Eritrea in 1928. At that time, Italy's fascist leader, Benito Mussolini, in an attempt to expand his power further south, deployed his army in Dekemhare, where they stayed there until they were forced out by the British in 1941. The Italian settlers found Dekemhare to be one of the most fertile lands they had ever seen. Its moderately cool climate also seized their attention, and it was not long after they revolutionized the entire place industrially with the establishment of a number of factories. Cinemas were built for their entertainment. Agricultural projects were started on a larger scale. Roads that connect Dekemhare with many other cities were built, but for their sole advantage.
We bring the old thing and much more every week at this time.
The Italians called Dekemhare the second Milano, and was one of the primary agricultural targets for them. This was the place where they grew grapes for their wine and many other fruits and vegetables to satisfy their colonial fiasco.
The Italians were exceedingly overjoyed to have discovered Dekemhare with its rich fertile soil, wonderful climatic conditions, and attractive sports to set up their various industries, but were equally disappointed because they had to leave without getting enough of it.
بمؤمرة بالبعث مؤذن مقدي نبات نعدي الله نصورنا من الدهرة نسمع.
The Italians loved Dekemhare so much that they called it second Milano, a name they deemed worthy for their second home.
ميلانو أنا إيطاليا أباي كسمة فابريكا سيكوندو ميلانو إلون صوعوان بتعمل بقرارنا بقدم بكلمات محور.
Like in Asmara and other Eritrean towns and cities, the Italian footprints could still be seen in the buildings of Dekemhare, especially in the heart of the city. Now, with time, however, their color is slowly fading away. Dekemhare was originally designed to be the industrial center and transport hub of Eritrea. It is believed that the finest vineyards in Africa were found right here in this part of Eritrea, Dekemhare. This is, of course, during the Italian colonial period, where grapes were grown in orchards and either distilled for wine or transported to Europe. Colonial accounts have it that the annual Roman wine festival was hosted right here in Dekemhare. Could you imagine that?
ደቀምሃረ ሓደ ካብቲ ስማ ናይ ኣታክልቲ እዩ ኣብ ዓመት ሓደ ግዜ ካብ ሓደ ክሳብ 15 ሓምለ ፌስታ ናይ ወይኒ ተባሂሉ ይጥቀስ ግዜ ነይሩ ሽዑ ብምሉእ ኤርትራ ዘሎ ፃዕዳን ፀሊም መፂኡ ኣብ ደቀምሃረ ውዒሉ ኣብ ዝኾነ ጀርዲን ቀሪቡ ንኣፉ ዝበልዖ ብነፃ እዩ ገዚኡ ወዝኸይ ጥራይ ዝከፍል ነይሩ ግዜ
Dekemhare is known for its agricultural potentials. The Italians conducted their annual wine festival right here in Dekemhare, and it was a place which served as a venue for the gathering of many. Many plants were grown here, some of which were directed to making various kinds of medicine. Still, vegetables grown here were transported in large trucks to Mercato of Asmara.
ፈረንጂ ኣብ ደቀምሃረ ዝነበሩ ግዜቶም ትሪያን ብጣዕሚ ብመናብሮም ጥቡቅ እዮም ነይሮም ርሶም ቦታ ሆኑ ይፈርየሎም ነይሩ እዩ
During the Italian colonization, more than 19 factories were established by the Italians with Eritrean workforce. Factories that processed metal, leather, wheat and foodstuffs. Factories that produced ceramic works, wineries, canneries. Factories that produced keys, paper, soft drinks, mineral water, soap, perfume, charcoal, biscuits, pasta, are to mention a few. The Red Sea General Mills, a biscuit factory, and the Dekemhare pasta factory are examples of the last remaining traces of the extensive agricultural and light industries once active in Dekemhare. ኣብዚ እዋን እዚ ነቲ ምቾት ናሃቶም ክብል ኣብ ደቀምሃረ ዝነበሩ ብዙሓት ባራት ኣዘናጋዕቲ ዝኾነ ቦታታት እውን ሃኒፁ ከምኡውን
Italians constructed a number of entertainment centers and ranches for horseback riding, as well as a place called Tiravolo for carrying out target practices. Moreover, it's favorable to grow various kinds of fruits and vegetables, which was why the Italians preferred it more.
ኣታክልቲ ብምሉእ ምቹእ ስለ ዝነበሮም ደቀምሃረ ሓደ ካብቲ ስማ ናይ ኣታክልቲ እዩ
The colonizers were fully aware of the huge potentials Dekemhare possessed, owing to its strategic position, cool weather and fertile land, which is still an open secret by many investors that have an eye to expand their proceeds. No doubt, Dekemhare's easy accessibility, coupled with the ever-increasing economic development witnessed and the stable lifestyle enjoyed by inhabitants, will soon make the town an advanced city. Some of the finest cinemas that were also constructed at that time are Cinema Eritrea and Cinema Impero. The upper part of the cinemas were specifically designated to the Italian colonialists, while the bottom was for the locals. Apparently, that is how colonization would go, simply the best for the masters. The northern part of Dekemhare is where the locals lived during the colonial days, and here was where the major activities took place back then, with different shops and boutiques selling and exchanging, barber shops offering clean cuts and gossips, bus station and the old marketplace becoming a rendezvous point for the women, and much more. To the south of the city park, the cinema and the administration building stand face to face, while the former Italian settlers' apartment buildings stand watch over on the other side. This is the same town that echoed Dekemhare back then.